The moment you stop reacting, everything changes, okay? You've got to react less. I've done another video recently talking about you've got to be indifferent, you've got to care less. You've got to care less, but you've also got to do less as well, okay? You've got to react less. And this is something that you can change behaviorally relatively easily. Okay, I mean, it's not a walk in the park, but it's relatively easy, because you've just got to look at your behavior and you've got to think, okay, am I overreacting to this? Am I feeling compelled to come back with explanations or clarifications, or, you know, trying to recreate contact or doing something to ameliorate the situation? And if you are, you've got to stop doing it. All right. Now, I've referred to this previously, but I would again urge you to check out Mel Robbins' book, The Let Them Effect. Okay, massive bestseller. So you'll find it in any bookshop or obviously Amazon. It's on audiobook, all that stuff. Check it out. All right, it's really, really good. And the principle that it unveils is very, very simple and very straightforward, which is basically you can't control other people. Okay, you can't control other people, so don't even try. All right, you've got to do what you're going to do. Okay, so you're going to go through life, you're going to live your life in a certain way, in the best way that you're able to, okay, to get the outcomes that you want. And other people are going to react to that in various different manners. All right, so some people are going to be very supportive and they're going to really try to help you out, and they're going to be very loving towards you and caring and everything else. And other people are going to hate you, and they're going to think you're a terrible, terrible person and a waste of space, and how could he be doing this? How could he be in Piccadilly Circus making a video? Oh my God. And they're going to think you're an idiot, all right? And both of those reactions are absolutely fine. Okay, that's absolutely fine, because everybody else is going to do what they're going to do. They're going to have their thoughts, they're going to have their feelings, they're going to have their prejudices, etc., etc. And you know what? You can't change it. Okay? You can't change it. So you're just going to have to ride with it. All right? You're just going to have to ride with it, or at least that is the most sensible course of action to take. Okay? Because you can't affect what other people think, right? You can't affect what other people say or try to do to influence your behavior, okay? So in the context of reacting, all right? In the context of reacting, so say you go to a party and you meet a woman, she's really attractive, you guys are talking, you've got a great vibe, the conversation's really good, and you feel that it's gone really well. And then you send a message later on and she doesn't respond. Okay, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? The worst thing that you can do is you can send a follow-up message to that, and you can say, oh, you know, I thought we had a really great vibe, I thought we had really good chemistry, I thought we were, you know, really vibing there, and you know, you didn't respond. Why is that? What did I do wrong? What can I do to make this right? Blah, 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 sending like loads and loads of paragraphs and things like that. It's a really, really bad move, okay? It's a rookie move. Shouldn't do it, because you've behaved in the way that was congruent to you, okay? You've done the thing that was right for you. She has acted in response to that, and she's, you know, completely within her rights to do that. That's fine. And you don't like the outcome, okay? And that's also fine. It's also fine that you don't like the outcome. But it doesn't give you the right to then come back and try to change the way that she's thinking or feeling. But more importantly than that, you can't anyway, okay? More importantly, you can't change the way that she's thinking and feeling anyway, okay? It's just, it doesn't work like that, right? You've probably heard the expression, you know, you can't negotiate genuine desire. Well, you can't negotiate somebody out of thinking a certain way, all right? You can't logically argue like you're in a courtroom for somebody to change their feelings, okay? So for whatever reason, she's chosen not to respond to you, okay? And guys get butthurt about this. They're like, oh, I can't believe it. You know, I spent so much time. I was talking to her. Oh, I thought it was, oh, you know, why are these women like this? Oh, you know, and all that. It's like, well, tough, okay? The world doesn't owe you a living, all right? Nobody owes you positive feelings, okay? All that you can do, and the best that you can do, is go through the world in good faith, okay? Treating people with respect, but also, you know, keeping your own interests in mind as well, and let the chips fall where they may, okay? She hasn't responded. Now, it's not to say that you can't send a follow-up message if you want to, you know, a couple of days later, send a ping or something like that, fine. But don't try to change her mind, right? Don't try to argue to logically change how she's feeling or thinking, because it's just not going to work, and you're going to look weak, okay? And there's almost a spiritual aspect to this as well, whereby you give something of yourself away when you're trying to change other people. There's a weird transaction that happens where part of your energy is being extended and sort of given away to this other person in a very futile manner. And it's not good, right? It's not a good trade, because probably what's going to happen is you're going to send this other text, you know, this long paragraph, and try to convince her and blah, blah, blah. And she's just going to ignore it anyway, you know? And then you're going to feel even worse. You know, you've expended energy, you've expended mental bandwidth on that thing, which was a nonsensical proposition to send anyway, because really you should understand as an adult that you can't change the way that she thinks and feels. And now you've got what you asked for from the universe, which is nothing. And so it compounds the original hurt that you were feeling about the fact that she didn't text you back in the first place, okay? So reacting to people is always something that at the very least you should question, okay? So in any given situation, when anybody contacts you or doesn't contact you or sends you something that's not nice or sends you something that is nice, you should take a moment and sit back and think, does this require a response? Does this actually require me to do anything? Because a lot of the time it doesn't, okay? A lot of the time it kind of doesn't. You know, I mean, somebody writes a nasty comment underneath your video, okay? Do you need to respond? Not really. I mean, what's the benefit? What's the benefit to anybody, okay? You're not going to change the person's mind. You're not going to be able to argue them out of thinking your video's no good. And, you know, even if you were, why would you bother? You know, you've got to do your thing, whatever that is, in whatever sphere, and let people then take it as they want. Okay, let them. Remember the Mel Robbins book, let them, because you don't control other people. Okay, and nor should you want to. All right, other people are completely free to do whatever the hell they want to do, and so are you, within the confines of the law. Okay, and within the confines of basic decency. Same with that, okay? As long as they're not doing anything criminal, as long as they're not seeking to harm you in any material way, let them get on with it. That's fine. But also have boundaries around it, because you choose who you let in your life on, okay? So if you are in a situation with somebody and they are not treating you well, then that probably is a good idea to remove yourself from that situation and not to hang out with them anymore. Okay, so you can do that because, again, it's your decision, right? You decide for yourself what you do. And I suppose you could argue that is a form of reaction. Well, in a way, yes, but it's a very muted form of reaction, because you're not going to the person and having a big conversation with them and saying, oh, you're treating me like this, I think you should be doing this and that and that. Actually, you can do that. You can do that. That might be the first line of attack. But after that, you don't really owe them anything else. And you're doing a very muted sort of non-reaction, really, which is like, I'm not even going to react to this, but I am just going to leave the situation. Okay, and that's fine. Because the second part of Mel Robbins' dictum is let them do whatever they're going to do, and let me, okay, and then let me do X, okay? So it might be let them criticize my video and let me ignore them and just make another video, okay? That might be the paradigm. So, you know, with this woman that hasn't texted you back or whatever it is, it might be, okay, fine. Let her not respond to my message. Let her be discourteous to not even drop you one word to say, oh, great, you know, nice to meet you, thanks, or whatever. Let her do that. That's fine. She's totally free to do that. But now, let you forget, or let me, in your voice, forget about her and go on and meet somebody else who's more accommodating and more aligned, all right? And that's how it has to be. And it's, as I say, it's partly strategic because you don't want to look weak, you don't want to feel weak, you don't want to feel like you're giving yourself away to these people who don't really deserve it. But equally, it's just common sense, because you've got to accept the reality of the situation that you can't affect every outcome anyway. You can't control other people. You can't change how other people feel and think. So don't even try, okay? Don't even try. Anyway, I hope this has been helpful. Our course, Approach Accelerator, is open now for new students. We've got a few places left. There's a link below, or drop me an email, troy@realtroyfrancis.com. We've also got a live coaching event at Rio Carnival, February 13th to 21st, with myself and James Tusk. If you're interested in that, drop me an email, troy@realtroyfrancis.com. Subscribe to the channels, give me a like, give me a comment, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye-bye.